Taking more notes usually doesn't help you learn more. In fact, it often makes you learn less because you get more confused, you have a bunch of stuff to apply that day, and you don't end up using any of the advice that you learned. So what you want to do with this video is I'm going to teach you how you can take less notes, but how to actually learn more and get more value from the notes that you take. Like for example, like let's say you're taking a course online and you want to spend 20 minutes a day learning, and you end up writing like a full page of notes, and you get confused and overwhelmed and you don't do anything after that. That's a problem with the traditional note-taking method, is you just take tons of notes on every single thing. Because remember, if you take notes on everything, then how do you know what is actually valuable? Maybe you just take in a lot of things that you think is valuable, but actually isn't really that valuable for your situation. I want you to think about this. What's the purpose of learning? Why do you buy marketing books, health books? Why do you take health courses, business courses? Why do you watch self-improvement videos on social media? Well, the reason why you do these is probably because you want to improve something in your life. So if we had the idea, okay, the reason why I'm doing this is I want to improve something in my life, so then we focus on that. It's not a competition on how much notes you can take. It's a competition on how well you can use the ideas that you learned and how valuable the ideas are that you learned. So let's start. Let me give you a 4-step formula so you can take better notes with self-improvement. So step 1 is start with a purpose. So for this, you're going to need a blank piece of paper and you're going to need a pen. So you want to ask yourself today's learning question. So it could be 2 things. It could be either be A, something that you want to improve, or B, a problem that you want to solve. So let's give you an example of A, something that you want to improve. So for today's learning question, let's say something that you want to improve is best home workouts with no equipment. So you write that at the top of the page. The reason why you want to write today's learning question, and especially you can do this in the morning or before you sleep, is so that you know exactly what you want to learn today for your free success videos. So for example, like let's say when you're searching on YouTube or social media, you can search this question. So you can say, okay, on YouTube, best home workouts with no equipment. So then you know exactly what you're going to learn that day. So that way you have clarity on exactly your objective for learning, and that you know what you're learning would actually be valuable for your situation. Because there's tons of advice and learning videos and books out there, but you need advice that works for you and that works for your current situation right now. Because advice is different for everybody. Because advice that works could be different for 2 different people. Step 2 is you want to limit your notes. So for this, you're going to need 2 different pens, a color pen and a black pen. So this is how we're going to simplify our notes. So when you're taking notes, like let's say on the free success videos, you have a question, and then at the top you can write the video title. So whatever video that you're learning, the title. And then maybe on the side here, you can write today's date. So title, month, day, year right here. So what you do with the color pen, once you find something to apply, you write the idea down with the color pen, and then you just stop. Simple as that. So that way you have a clear purpose. You're finding one thing to apply to your life, and then you stop learning and then you go apply it. Either right after you learn it or at a specific time, like maybe after supper. And then the black pen, you can use this as outlines. Like if something is important to remember but not really to apply, you can write this with the black pen. But mostly with the color pen, find one thing to apply and then stop. And make sure you get the full context around the idea so you know exactly how to apply the idea and you know everything about the idea. But once you understand it, stop and then go apply it. Or apply it at a specific time. So far the 3 steps are: step 1 is you want to write today's learning question. For example, best home workouts with no equipment. Step 2 is you just want to use a color pen and the black pen for your notes. Step 3 is you want to find one thing to apply and stop learning and then go apply it right after or at a specific time. And now let's get into step 4. Step 4 is read it out loud 2 to 3 times. So like let's say when you're learning, whatever the idea is. So then what you want to do is, the idea that you learned, you want to read it out loud 2 to 3 times. And you want to reflect. Does it sound right? What do I think about it? And you want to also think about the idea. So instead just replying right after, stop and just take some time to think. Is this valuable? Does this idea apply to me? Is this advice actually good? How can I apply this today? What's a potential improvement or problem that I could solve with this idea? Stuff like that. And then what you want to do is with the color pen, this is for the one idea that you learned that you can apply, and then you stop learning and then go apply it, or at a specific time. Let me give you a quick recap of the 4 steps so you know exactly what to do. Step 1 is write today's learning question, either in the morning or before you sleep. So this is going to be something that you want to improve or problem that you want to solve. For example, best home workouts with no equipment. Step 2 is you want to use 2 pens, a black pen and a color pen. This black pen is for the outline, or you could also write lists for this. So like let's say on page 34 on your notes, let's say you learn 10 different productivity apps. So you could just say page 34, 10 productivity apps. And then for the color pen, this is for learning one idea. The color pen is for learning one practical idea, and then stop learning and then go apply it right after some reflection or a specific time. And then step 4 is read it out loud 2 to 3 times. And you want to think about the idea and ask yourself deep questions. Like, is this valuable? How do I apply this? Stuff like that.